Shalom everyone, two numerical gems in the Torah. In the first verse of the Torah, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There's a very important numerical structure of the verse. It has 7 words and 28 letters. 7 words is important because we see that the whole story of creation takes place over 6 days, and then the 7th day is Shabbat. So in the first verse of the Torah, you have encapsulated in a certain way everything that will follow in creation. The 28 letters, 28 equals the word koach, power. And this is connected to the very first Rashi in the Torah. And he asks rhetorically, why does the Torah begin with the story of creation? Why doesn't it start with the first mitzvah given to the Jewish people? Because isn't the Torah a book of laws? A book of instruction? Why does the Torah have to begin with Bereshit? And he answers by quoting a verse from Psalms, Koach ma'asav higid la'amo, letet lehem nachalat goyim. The power of his deeds he told his people in order to give them an inheritance among the nations. So here, very significantly, the first word of this verse, koach masav, the power of his words, koach is 28, the 28 letters of the opening verse of creation. But Rashi continues, and we have to understand, he wrote this approximately 1,000 years ago, and it was truly prophetic. He says, in the future, the nations of the world will come and say, Listim atem, you are robbers, you're thieves, you stole Eretz Yisrael. Does this sound familiar in the halls of the United Nations? For decades now, we've been accused with stealing Eretz Yisrael. So Rashi continues and says, that's why we have to start the Torah from creation. Because what will Israel say to the nations? On what right do we have to the land of Israel? And so we'll answer, the same God who created heaven and earth, he gave us Eretz Yisrael. That is our deed to the land of Israel, that it is God given. Therefore, the Torah begins with establishing God as the creator. And God can give the land to who he wants, and he chose to give it to the Jewish people. Now, this structure of 7 words and 28 letters appears again in a very, very important verse. And as an introduction to understand this, we bring another Rashi. In the end of the 6th day, it ends, Vayhi Erev, Vayhi Boker, Yom HaShishi. It was evening and it was morning, the 6th day. Rashi points out that the other days of creation also ended in a similar way. It was evening and it was morning. But the 2nd day, 3rd day, 4th day, 5th day, it doesn't have a hey before. It doesn't say like the 6th day, the 2nd day, the 3rd day. It just says it was evening, it was morning, 2nd day. So so why in the 6th day does it say Yom HaShishi? So he answers by saying that this alludes to or reminds us of another 6th day. Which 6th day is that? The 6th of Sivan, the day that the Torah is given to the Jewish people. And Rashi makes an astounding statement based on tradition. where until the giving of the Torah at Sinai, it was as if the whole creation was on condition, meaning it didn't have a stable foundation. And what was the condition? That the Jewish people would receive the 10 Commandments on the 6th of Sivan. And that's why Rashi says, it says, Yom HaShishi, the 6th day. Now, how is this connected to the structure of the first sentence of the Torah? Well, we see that the introductory verse to the 10 Commandments also has 7 words and 28 letters. Vayidaber Elokim et kol ha'devarim ha'ela lemor. And God said all of these things, saying. Just like all of creation had an introduction in the first verse, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, everything followed from that. So the verse right before the giving of the 10 Commandments also has 7 words and 28 letters to show us what Rashi was trying to explain, is that the 10 Commandments is both a revelation, but also a completion of the very purpose of creation. And we're told that God created through speech, as we say every morning, Baruch she'amar v'haya olam. Blessed is the one who spoke and the world came into being. And we see that there are 10, what are called 10 mamarot, 10 expressions where God says, like the first time, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And this formula is repeated. God spoke a certain creation into being, and it came into being. So those 10 expressions through which creation happens is reflected later in the 10 Commandments. And the 10 Commandments represent the very purpose of creation. So here, as a review, we can now understand Rashi picking this verse, Koach ma'asav higid lamo, letet lehem nachalat goyim. The power of his deeds he told to his people. That's why the Torah has to begin with Bereshit, with the creation, in order to give them an inheritance among the nations. And that is our defense to the world, that God gave us this land. That is our deed to Eretz Yisrael until this day.